Once upon a time, in the year when jazz ruled the night and champagne ruled the poor man's dreams, there lived a fellow named Eddie Coleman, though the neighborhood knew him better as Eddie Cashless. Eddie had class, charm, and the kind of confidence that could sell rain to a drowning man. But there was one tiny problem with Eddie. The man was broke. Not a little short broke. Not between paychecks broke. I mean flat out tap dancing on credit broke. He wore a secondhand suit that fit him like a borrowed dream and a smile that fooled no one but himself. Every night, Eddie sat in the corner booth of a smoky speakeasy talking about his next big break. He spoke of business ventures, grand openings, million-dollar ideas, all while owing the bartender 2 weeks' worth of promises. And when someone asked, "Eddie, how come you're always broke?" he'd laugh, tilt his hat, and say, "Money just don't like staying in one place, especially not mine." But deep down, Eddie knew the truth. Money didn't leave him. He chased it away. One lazy morning, one borrowed dime, one unkept plan at a time. One evening, a wealthy old gentleman slid into Eddie's booth. His name was Mr. Pensworth, the kind of man whose silence was richer than most people's noise. He placed a gold coin on the table and said, "Keep it, if you can tell me what broke really means." Eddie chuckled. "Means I'm out of money, old-timer." But Mr. Pensworth just smiled and walked away, leaving the coin and a question heavier than gold. That night, Eddie went home to his tiny rented room. The wallpaper peeled like old regrets, and the bills piled like judgment. He stared at that gold coin for hours, and somewhere between midnight and morning, something inside him cracked. Not his pride, but his denial. For the first time, Eddie admitted it. He wasn't broke because of bad luck. He was broke because of bad habits. He blamed the economy, but the real thief was his routine. He envied success but never studied it. He dreamed loudly but worked quietly. Too quietly. Days later, a letter arrived from Mr. Pensworth. Inside it were only a few lines written in a hand that smelled of cigar smoke and experience. "Son, wealth isn't a number, it's a nature. You earn what you respect. 3 truths build fortune. 1. Save like a miser, spend like a monk. 2. Work your craft till it speaks your name. 3. Never spend more on pleasure than you do on progress." Eddie read those words again and again until they burned into his brain. Then, for the first time in years, he worked. Really worked. The neighbors thought he'd gone mad. No more late nights at the bar. No more get-rich schemes. Just the rhythmic clack of his typewriter and the quiet hum of persistence. He sold old clothes to pay rent. He saved spare change like treasure. He built his printing business one honest page at a time. He didn't strike gold overnight. He struck discipline every morning. A year later, the same speakeasy buzzed with jazz and laughter. Only this time, Eddie walked in wearing a clean suit, carrying confidence that didn't need to be borrowed. The bartender looked up. "Eddie Cashless?" Eddie smiled. "Not anymore." He laid a few bills on the counter, real ones this time, and bought drinks for everyone. But the biggest toast he made that night wasn't to money, it was to change. Later that night, Eddie met Mr. Pensworth again. The old man's eyes gleamed like polished wisdom. "You've done well, Eddie. Tell me, what did you learn?" Eddie replied quietly, "That being broke was never about my pocket. It was about my patterns." And Mr. Pensworth nodded. "Then keep that gold coin, son. You finally earned it." Now, dear listener, maybe you're a little like Eddie. Maybe your wallet groans and your dreams glitter. You say you need more money, but maybe what you really need is more mastery. You see, broke isn't a balance. It's a belief. It's when your effort is smaller than your excuses and your hope works harder than your hands. So here's the truth, the one Eddie learned the long way. You don't get rich by wishing. You get rich by working, waiting, and walking wisely. If you're still broke, maybe it's not the world that's unfair. Maybe it's your habits that are unemployed. So wake up, my friend. The jazz is fading, the lights are dimming, and life's stage is calling your next act. Be like Eddie, the man who traded excuses for effort and found that fortune had been waiting right behind the word discipline